My name is Scott Jerome. I'm a physical therapist at Shriners Hospital. I've been in pediatrics for the last 25 years, all in Salt Lake City. I had an opportunity to start my time at Shriners Hospital, and then I was able to move to children with special healthcare needs, and that's kind of where a lot of this began to really foster everything. Was in that first part of my career, is that I had my mentors in regards to seating and mobility, but I had to learn how to be a physical therapist. And then at children with special healthcare needs, I had an opportunity to move throughout the whole state of Utah. I had an opportunity also to do all the screening for a lot of our NICU graduates. And so normal development came a big time passion of mine. It's really amazing to see what needs to happen in regards for normal development to happen. And so that's become a passion of mine. And then in 2016, Shriner Seating and Mobility grows. And they're like, Scotty, would you want to come back and do that? I'm like, no, I've already done that. And wheelchairs seem to be very passive. But I have a deep conversation with two of the guys that really helped me learn what it's all about in regards to really on-time mobility. And then I learned that that's where I wanted to be. And it's been outstanding ever since. And then I've learned that seating mobility is a very aggressive way to get our kids involved and push them into participation. And so that's kind of where our little project came from. And what I really wanted to do was I move a lot and I talk a lot. So I'm going to kind of buzz today through this, but this is where this little project came from. And what we really wanted to do is we wanted to have something as a tool for you all to use. And then we really wanted to discuss how our partnerships within our community has really flourished this. So you got to find those stakeholders in your community that help you going to get to where you want to be. And so that's where I'm hoping to go today. All right. So I want to give you tools. I always am like, I need tools when I come back from these conferences, and then I want to have some homework of what I'm going to do and usually it used to be next year, but it's going to be 2 years. Okay. So here we're going to buzz. All right. Here's our learning objectives, okay? So, and it was so nice about going on a Saturday is that we've had some incredible talks already. So it's going to allow me to buzz some of my slides. But on-time mobility is a human right, and we're going to go deeper into that. We've established that. If you're here, you get it. The benefits, you get it, okay? The community partnerships I've already talked about. It's really critical. I mean, I know that we sometimes have a lot of these ideas and we want to keep them our own, but if you really want to springboard going into the next thing, you got to have trust in other people and you got to move forward and you got to share your idea, and then it gets better, by the way. We're going to show you what our baby bug learning toy is, what we call it. That's what this is right here. It's a joystick infant mobility tool. And then our modified Go chair, which has been something that we've been utilizing for a real long time and really developed an understanding of what on-time mobility is for us, okay? We're going to teach you how to build it. Well, this is open access. You can build this, you can have it, okay? If you can make it better, even better, okay? But we didn't have time to wait for tools. We're going, and that's what's really unique about us. And then we do have some of this great literature, and then we got to use it in regards to how we're going to incorporate it and how we're going to introduce these tools to our children. Because I've done it wrong a lot of times, and I've learned from doing it wrong. But then, once we get it right, it's really a beautiful thing to watch a kid move, okay? So here we go. Okay, no financial. How are we able to do this? Shriners is a little unique. I'm very thankful for my job, to be honest. Sometimes you get tired, but I always realize we're in the battle with you all. Okay, so we do utilize our patients' resources. We do write letters of medical necessity. We do write appeals, ridiculous appeals. And this has been a tough weekend in regards to how hard we have to fight for just real basic needs. And we're in the fight with you. However, we have some very generous donors that allows us to fill in the gaps. So all I need to do is be a physical therapist at Shriners, and that's a huge benefit for me. And then it allows us to be innovative as well. And so that's where some of these tools came from. I am one of a team, and my whole team's up front here. I don't know if they're going to help me or they're going to harass me this whole time, but they really keep me humble. And so 3 physical therapists, outstanding. And we're interchangeable, which was something different for me. When I came in, I was like, no, I wrote that letter. No, I did that eval. No, I do that fit. And they're like, nope, we keep changing. We learn from each other, and we're interchangeable that way. It's a beautiful team effort. We have technicians and ATPs that are Outstanding. My fits are so easy when they get a hold of the chair before I. And again, you have all their names. And then Kim keeps us all in line in regards to what's an eval, what's a donor, what's this. And so it's really quite fluid. And so I can't say enough about our team. Here's what we do real quick. We do evals. We do on-time mobility assessments. We fit every chair that we do. That's very important. And then we're very lucky. Oops. We're very lucky in regards to then we do follow-up too. So it keeps you accountable on what you evaluated for and if you got it right or not. So again, we've seen that in some of these lectures too in regards to follow-up is critical, okay? And then it keeps you accountable and you're able to learn. So if I make a mistake, I do really good the next time on that. I think I learn more from my mistakes than I do from some of my successes. So, but it keeps you accountable. We do car seats, so that's been amazing. In regards to finding out the needs that we have seasonal clinics. So we found out that we were asking kids, hey, you having fun? Are you looking forward to Halloween? They're like, no, that happens up on a doorstep. So we were like, well, maybe we should bring Halloween to you. And this has been outstanding. And anything we show you here, we want to share it with you. So if you want to do it in your area, we'll help you learn how to do that. We also do camps. That's again, it's more of my colleagues, but again, they are awesome in regards to our kids with amputations, whether they're acquired or congenital. They go out on the river and they talk and they find out that they're not alone. And they do that on the ski slopes too. So that's awesome. Here's just our pure numbers. That's all it is. All I need to do all day is wheelchairs. So I focus on one thing all day. And so that's all I want to say. I need repetition. So we get repetition in evals and fits. And when you do that, you get to learn, okay? Every wheelchair we do, so there's our numbers, and you start to see them go up, and that's because we have Miss Jen that came back in, and we're moving forward, okay? And then our clinic numbers, okay? This is what my world looked like when I came back to Shriners. And so we have done, if you look here, is we had these two on the side. So those are a Go chair, and the first one's a Rascal. They no longer make that. Should have my pointer, boom. But what we've done way before I got here is you take that seat off, and then we build a small seating system. We can go complex rehab. We've done a little bit of tilt. We can support a kid, and so we get a lot of kids in wheelchairs. And this started in 2002, so I came back in 2016, and we've put out 800 plus. I bet you that number's low. Okay, so that allowed us to put a lot of kids in wheelchairs and just watch what they do. And when I came back, we were always saying, I was like, what, why, how do you put it? What's your criteria for putting a kid in a wheelchair? And we're going around the table and they go, Scotty, what's yours? And Matt did this. He said, he was teasing me. He was like, yeah, if they have a pulse, we put a kiddo in. But I watched a lot of kids at many different levels do this. And that's what started to get me excited about this, is that you get to see a lot when you put a child in a wheelchair in regards to their cognition. And where I've got to that point is I never want to have a child that has such a disrupted motor area, but a very smart person. And I miss the opportunity to provide them on-time mobility. That's my fear in life right there, is if you have a smart kiddo that you can't figure out how to get through their motor disruption to get them moving, that's my fear. So, okay. So we're like, okay, well, can we go younger? And so here's a video. I always hold my breath when I do this for the first time. And this just is kind of where we come in. This is going to be the whole generalized thing of where we're going today. What we do is we understand normal development. And so if we have a mobility impairment, we always want to try to negate the problems that come with immobility. So if you're not moving, you're not exploring. If you're not exploring, you're not learning. And so we always say that you learn to move, and then you move to learn. When you have kids with mobility impairments, you take away from their experiences in regards to development. And so if we can put a tool in place to help them be mobile, they start to receive the benefits of overall development. And we're trying to keep them on the curve as much as we can in regards to typical development. And that's what these tools are used for.
When you have a normal, healthy child, like it's hard to kind of keep in mind that all of their developmental and everything that they experience like leads to further on down the road and how much they grow. And it was awesome to be able to get something that we could get her up and moving and mobile, even though she wasn't crawling, so that she could explore the house.
We want to give them the opportunity to move so that they can have some self-determination, participate with their family members, and just explore a little bit on their own to facilitate their development.
So this was a project in partnership with Shriners Children's Hospital. One of their engineering guys was working on a mobility device for infants between like ages 9 months to 14 months. So they wanted us to kind of look at their design, refine it, and then try to make it like publishable.
So what we've been able to do in here at Shriners, we've always want families just to have access to these tools. Sometimes we're limited on our resources, and so we found a beautiful partnership with UATP in allowing us to move forward and have expectations on us to keep moving forward. And personally, that motivated me to keep moving forward. And I think this goal is very possible now for the state of Utah to have access to on-time mobility. And we're doing something. We're doing our part to provide that to families in a great partnership. And there's other people that are involved in this partnership as well. But UATP and Shriners Children's have allowed this to blossom. And I think it has a bright future. Cool. Oh, gosh. Okay. Cool. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you in a nutshell. Okay. So we're going to go through that of how we're going to do this in that partnership again with Utah State. So this is what we want to kind of focus on today is what I was thinking. Okay. Our on-time mobility. And so we said, can we go younger? What does it look like younger in regards to getting it? And so now at Shriners, what's been so fun with us is that we have a lifetime of mobility tools now. So yeah, we can get you at infant and then we can get you all the way up to adulthood. Okay. So we get to see kids up until 21, 22. Okay. Here we go. In regards, if you have not read this article, you need to. I'm a little embarrassed. I kind of was like, oh yeah, I know that. But when you read this, it is so well articulated. Dr. Feldner, I get to see some of the authors today. I get to see Jenny today. I was like, are you Jenny? And so some of the things that I'm reading, we get to start meeting these authors, and thank you for doing this. But this is an outstanding tool, and this is a great read, and it recognizes human mobility as a right. And if you read this and don't have a feeling, it motivates you to keep going. And so it might be a read that you might want to do again. Okay. Developmental cascades. Again, we've seen that all week. Okay. This definitely, mobility is addicting, and and what happens when a kid starts moving is amazing. And you can see the excitement that I have in that. And then participation, that's everything. If I can get a kid participating, we've done our job. Okay. So participation is key. I don't care what you're using. All right. We learn to move and we move to learn throughout the day. How true is that? Okay. We got to kind of start changing. I'm always thinking of our payers too, right? You get tired of writing those appeals, but so you always have to have in the back of your mind those people that are making determinations on your. It used to be like, well, when you can show us that you can drive, then we'll get you a chair. Or you can't have a chair until a certain age. That was a thing for a while. Well, we got to kind of maybe start changing how we talk, okay? So, and really, I had to learn this because I was seeing more kids ages 2, 3, old. We got to think younger. We're not driving. You don't need to drive. You need to be mobile, okay? So movement. So we're not driving. We're moving. Okay, so if we can say that instead of that. And then also, I jumped around. It's really not early mobility. I've never had a referral of like, hey, my kid's an athlete. They're kind of hitting their developmental milestones early. I'm like, no, this is on-time mobility. What I'm really trying to do and what we're trying to do is merge our atypically developing kids with typically developing movers. Okay, so if we can crunch that gap, we're doing our job. Okay, here's the evidence. Okay, when somebody does, so Rosalind Livingstone and Deborah Fields, when somebody does a beautiful review article and they review all the articles for you and then you get to read it, that's awesome. And these are really good. In 2014, I was always like, oh, I'm just reading the most recent stuff. I don't want to read the old stuff, but that's wrong. And so what you get from here, and as we go, just a quick thing, I've carried this around and we've known this for a long time. So this is a great article in 2014. I'll jump back to it. But when Ken Kazol, he retired, he was part of our crew and everything. When he left, he left all of his stuff on my desk. And this is one of the books that was there, 1986. And it says, not so long ago, it was, oh gosh. Not so long ago, it was generally feel that the electric wheelchairs were not suitable for children because of the possibility of accidents. However, with the availability of improved control system, it has been demonstrated that children as young as 24 months can operate an electric wheelchair safely. 1986. And so there's really Charlene Butler's, there's some really good stuff that's out there before. But again, this crew, they go ahead and they put together this review article. And we have a lot of literature out there. And we have 4 studies, these top 2, that have some good strength to them. So we should be incorporating it into our treatment plans, okay? So we have that. But then we have a lot of articles were excluded here. But we have a lot of articles that are also very good qualitative, and there's something to be pulled from them. So we can't poo-poo them a whole bunch. We got to look at everything, okay? And then we have to put, and I feel we have to put out stronger research so we can be more objective to say that this is important. But we do have these out there. Here are all the great things that happen when you, and we've seen this a couple times this week, okay? No. Awesome, Jenny Pele. Here we go. I got you coming up next here. Jenny, I got your study coming up. And so this is where we have it. We also need to take a look at just what's going on in normal development. And this is a fun slide. And Karen Adolph, I'd love to meet her too. But you start to look at when our kids start creeping and crawling, the decisions that need to be made are amazing of what these little people are doing. You know, do they just crawl right off of a ledge? That's what her study was. Or do they crawl right off the first time? Yeah. And then maybe they start making decisions of what they're going to do and how they're strategically going to get down. 9 to 10 months. Okay. Walking. We've seen that. We've seen that in many lectures. How many repetitions do we need? A lot. And then what does it look like? It looks like random movement all over. And then this last one we haven't picked up, but Dr. Wale, what they discovered is that when a child starts walking, we start talking and interacting with them incredibly different. And if you just watch that happen, it's amazing. These articles started putting me down a lot of rabbit holes, but if you just want to go to Netflix and watch a babies series, and you can jump around to see whatever one you want, it's really fun to watch all this in real time with families. So that's a fun one. Here's another one. So this is Jenny Pele, Rosalind Livingstone. Beautiful article. They do this Delphi consensus study. So we identify who's the leaders in regards to introducing power mobility. And they send out a questionnaire to all of them. And they go, how are you introducing and how are you managing on power mobility? And they get the questionnaires back and they send it again. And they refine those and they send them again. And then they break down for us of how we should introduce this. And we have this beautiful article right here to help you move through that. And then we're going to find other tools for you. But we start to look at it. I'm just going to pull out a couple, and then we're going to come back to this, okay? But 8 months of age, we should be introducing it. Power mobility does not impede ambulation. So let's start getting that out of the way. And we're seeing that clinically. If a kid moves better outside of a wheelchair, they are abandoning that tool. And that is, they will. Kids are smart. They're much smarter than us. And so if we just take time to observe them, they will do that. So that's not true. Or it's true that they promote self-initiated behaviors, and then success depends on practice and quality of learning. We got to figure out how to set up practice and quality of learning and stick to it and be patient. We see a lot of barriers. Oh my gosh, this weekend, right from the go, of the barriers that we have of getting our kids what they need. Yes, cost, huge. Innovation takes a long time to get from A to B. All right. These are items. So Permobile, the Mini Explorer, did take on the FDA. I'm pretty sure they might have went through some coding ideas. They went for it, okay? So they brought us a tool. These two, the WYSIBUG and this, we cannot get them in the United States. They are not going to come over the border and have to deal with those regulations. I said, can we buy one? Nope. You can come and pick them up at the border if you want. And then we have, this was a Cosmo. This was something that Quantum put out. We inspired it at Shriners, but it's gone. So they just continue using it. So we want to know why. Okay. Cost, families. Again, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this too. We have to be really empathetic of how we're moving through with families. So when I get really excited and everything, they're coming to me as a physical therapist and like, hey, we want to creep, crawl, walk, move. I'm like, hey, how about a wheelchair? And they're like, no. So I got to be empathetic to that. And I got to be really good on my education in regards to that. It's a tool. You can discharge out of it. You're going to see one of my mentors later. They're going to be like, we were doing this together and she used this. She goes, Scotty, when you're putting on-time mobility, and I'm so focused on wheelchairs, But when you put on-time mobility in there, she goes, I'm using this with kids that are beginning to creep, crawl, walk. Maybe we're just giving them a jump start, or maybe we're just giving them experience of what mobility does, and then you become addicted. All right. Us as therapists, we're barriers, huge barriers in our community at times. Again, we're like, hey, we don't have time to work on power mobility. We're working on everything else. We're like, hey, use it as part of your tools. All right. And then we also have this real difficult decision. You're like, you get one wheelchair in five years. So we are going to go and we're like, oh, we need to either put it in that manual wheelchair. We're talking about 2 to 3 where you're starting to go to preschool. You got to get on that bus, transport, etc. Yeah, let's just go for the slam dunk in that manual wheelchair. And then power mobility is we lose that funding. So it is hard, but you know, we can't have excuses. We got to figure out solutions. Okay, so here we're at. This is our baby bug learning toy, is what we've called it. It was designed by Ken Kazol. He was an engineer by trade initially. He started our program, and then Matt Lowell came in shortly afterwards. And so he was our engineer guy, and I was always the geek on the development. And then I was like, make me something that we can use with younger people. We got to see what's going on. And so this is what we came up with. He did not over-engineer it. Thank you. It's cheap. Thank you. It's accessible now. Thank you. And so this seating is really good. We went to midline. That's where you start with your development. The seating design, I didn't like it at first. I was like, I don't know about that. I'm really used to that bumbo and whatnot. But I have been able to seat, and we have been able to seat a lot of kids with this. And it's a library use type thing. You're only going to use this for like a year, maybe 18 months, depending upon the size of the child. And you can really position them with towels, and that's what we love, right? Towels, towel rolls, pillowcases, whatever we need. And we really get that kid up. And we've modified this too. So in the last month, that's not great when you're going into a lecture, but it's going to be better now. We're going to get that joystick closer. But it's been a great tool for us to at least start looking clinically at what kids do. And we're going to show you how to build this. I had to study it. Shriners were like, hey, you're not going to hand those out to kids unless you study it. So I put in 20 typically developing kids, 5 months to 15 months, and then we coded them. So what I did is we made sure they're typically developing, okay, using the Peabody second edition. So they're typically developing, and then we just put them in it with their parent, and we film them for 10 minutes in our gait lab, okay? And then we coded it. We said, how many times do they look at the joystick, touch the joystick, parents hand over hand, child drives it independently. Yes, and then we did it. So we said, yeah, they're doing it if they do it 50% of the total time that they're in it. You know what we learned? As you get older, you interact with the joystick a lot quicker. However, we're going to look at the ALPS later too, and we're also going to probably find out that you don't need to look at much video to find out where a child is in regards to the development of using power mobility. So it's been really useful just to watch kids and see them. And it's safe. I have wanted to bail on this product for a long time because you get real tired. And when you're in this industry, this is not a sprint. It's a marathon, okay? So stick with it and continue to be an advocate. But we started this in 2018. We had the final product. We've stayed really consistent with it since 2020. And now we just need to get a better joystick and a better, just more consistent, okay? As I was getting tired, one of my mentors, Barb Johnson, and she's taught me so much. She's working her way into retirement, but she's in early intervention. As I'm getting ready to bail on this idea, she's like, hey, can I get one of those baby bugs? We're like, yeah, here you go. Can I get another one? We're like, yep, here we go. And then we get another one, yep. And I'm like, oh, we can't make these. It takes a lot of time to make them. And she goes, I think we have something here. These kids are moving, and we're seeing it really flourishing, that something's going on. And that was our discussion. She's like, you're talking about wheelchairs, and we're going to see the benefit of that. But we also are sparking kids to get moving outside of it, creeping, crawling, walking, etc. 70% of our kids, when we were lecturing, are walking this. So it's a tool for everybody. And Barb's been my mentor as we move through here as well, okay? We had Tressa Johnston. She came up to me, and every therapist was like, hey, we want you to make us another one. And our crew was like, we don't have time. We were cutting out the board. We were doing this. We're like, we're taken care of. But then Tressa's like, I want one of those. I'm like, yeah, so does everybody. She goes, oh, but I wear another hat, and I work for a Utah Assistive Technology program, and that's the video you saw before. And I'm also going to bring this engineer, a young guy, very smart, and he's going to make 10 of them. And then he's also going to build you an Instructable. And I'm like, oh, really? Go for it. And they did it. Okay. So if you want to use this QR code, or you just want to look up Baby Bug Instructable, you can build it. So you need a CNC, machine, and they have the program for you. This is where my ignorance comes up. You have, if you have a 3D printer, you go ahead and you do that, and they have all the for you, and then they have all the parts, etc. Please get to this website and then hold for about 2 months, because we just changed the design because our boards were a little infrequent. This does work, but we also had a partnership with our Open Wheelchair Foundation, which is beautiful. However, the boards were a little inconsistent, so we have to do something better. But again, about $400 it'll cost to build this, okay? So $400, we got to keep it accessible. I was like, really, could I do it? They're like, yeah, you can do it. I'm like, really? Could a high schooler do it? Yeah, a high schooler could do it. I was like, yeah. Well, Jack Ketchetarian, he's a young man that was working with us, very bright young guy. And he's like, and so he builds one. He's like, I need some volunteer hours. I'm like, cool, build one. And so as he builds one, he does, he goes, I'm going to bring this to my robotics crew. And they bust out 6 in about 4 hours with a pizza break in the middle. Very doable. Okay, there's some prep. Don't get me wrong, there's some prep, but these are classes all that. So I'm like, well, what are we going to do with these 6? Well, why don't we introduce them into our so we have school districts, right? We all have school districts. And so Waterford High School, it's a really nice high school. Let's introduce those into your school district. You all made them. Let's put them in your school district. And so this has really flourished. It started happening at the end of last year, and then we started at the beginning of this year. And so I go to Jordan Child Development Center. I'm like, hey, can we educate you all on can we give you these 6? They're like, yeah. And I said, can we just protect you in regards to the liability? We'll check them out. I just want to see them first, evaluate them. We'll check out the baby bug, make sure it's safe, and then we're going to put them in there, and then you all treat them. But can we help you just a little bit in how you're going to do the treatment? And they're like, yeah, you bet. And so we introduced these 6 into it, and so we have a nice direct referral system. I should have introduced Rick Regal as well. He's our rehab director that keeps us online, and we have a nice direct referral system. I should just make you stand up instead of, no. So, but we have a nice referral system. They come to us and we do that, and then we introduce them to them. And then I'm like, can I just see you in 6 months and just kind of identify what progress is going on? Okay, so we're just going to start developing some data. We're going to start seeing that. All right. We feel like we're at a point right now, once we get our new design, that maybe Utah, we've got our lifetime of mobility. We have our mobility tools. Now let's just find out what they're doing. So that's where we're at right now. Okay. So here's what we did. Here's what we did. On-time mobility. It's a right. Do something about it. So we had the opportunity, and under our resources, we felt the way that we're able to treat, maybe that was our job. So we jumped in, we did it. Checked out the evidence. It's right there. Nice and easy. And I'm going to even show you a couple more tools that really hold your hand right through this. Review developmental milestones. That's the therapist. We've done it. Now we need a training plan. Okay. So now we're going to go back to the Delphi consensus study again, and let's start pulling out what we already know. Okay. Why not jump in it? Let's introduce it at 8 months. And me and Barb would always go back and forth. I'm like, developmentally 8 months. She's like, chronological 8 months. Just put them in it. I think that's right. Just put them in it, okay? We have a time in our life where our brain is so plastic, and it's growing and it's maturing explosions at this point in time. Let's harness it and let's use it, okay? We got to find out what's going on. Let's be patient, okay? When I was doing this study, I was like, what are these? This moving is just ridiculous. I'm not seeing anything. It's just moving and moving. And it's that. However, after 1 year of training, 18 to 24 months can complete the first part of the power mobility checklist. So you just take a peek at that. After 1 year, and really you need 1 month to just learn cause and effect. I love cause and effect. It tells you a lot, but you got to be patient and you got to put them in the right position, and just really, and we're going to look at the Alps, and it'll walk you right through that, okay? Daily practice, okay? High frequency, low duration. They don't need to be in this a whole bunch, but they got to see it a lot. All right, and then even Dr. Kenyon, 2016, she did a study in here that if you have, a functional disability, it's just going to take you a little bit longer. So we got to be incredibly patient, but things are happening. I'm hoping I show you that today. Okay. And then we're really going to use, okay. So here's what this looks like. Do I just hit that? Okay. So here's what 8 months typically developing. Okay. So that's what I had looks like. And I'm just going to show you a couple things. It's kind of like, oh, cool. Check out this tag. Oh, cool. Check out this tag. And then what's this? And it's like, wow. And that's really pretty consistent with what you see. And it's just, wow. So sensory. I got to sit myself up. So motorically, you got to do that. And then we got to let her lose off, get her hand off of that joystick. And then she kind of forgets about it. But we got 1 month to figure out your cause and effect. Gosh, that feels like forever sometimes, but it goes fast. I'm just going to jump around in this so you can kind of see a little bit. Just about. So we stop the joystick, kind of looks around.
Yeah,
Do it.
You did it. Good job. Yeah,
Gets
good,
consensus from mom. Like, I think something's going on. Self-discovery. You got to shut up and you got to just let it happen. That's really hard for me to do, believe it or not. That happens. Okay. And it looks like that. And man, we spent a lot of time in the lab for that. But there's a lot going on there that I finally realized. So now I'm excited about it, where I wasn't real super excited about it, but we got to let it happen. The assessment of learning power and mobility. So I didn't really understand it. And then even watching all the kids that I had an opportunity to watch, this will walk you right through how to do this, okay? All the way from, hey, sit them in the chair, let them be tolerant of the chair, let them cry if they need to, let them be comfortable, get them out, put them back in. That's your first stage of it. And you have these 3 stages. You have this internal phase where CC was kind of like trying to figure it out. And then all of a sudden you go, whoa, now there's a world out there. And now it's like, oh, now I got to look ahead. And the assessment of learning power and mobility do that. And then they even have treatment strategies for you to do. So if you actually read it, it's pretty awesome. Like I just went to the nice chart in the back. We had a great lecture this week where she went to IKEA. And she's like, yeah, I just pull out all the parts and try to put it together. Well, yeah, that's kind of how I read sometimes. But if you really read it, it'll walk you right through it. Okay. So that's kind of telling you the process of on-time mobility. And then we're going to start using the power mobility checklist. It's been out for a long time. But we found out that after a year, was all right with a year, you can start going through just the first part of it. And it's really not much. I mean, it's like on and off. We don't teach them how to turn it on and off. But like 10 seconds on the joystick, move a certain amount. But it's really, those are the skills that are actually acquired. So you have that going for you. So you can check that off. And then what we were doing is we tried really hard in regards to going. So we just need to do the first part in a year, I think is what that said. And then I used to really try for years to say, oh, I want to watch how developmentally these kids explode, and I want to measure that. But that's been really, really hard because there's so many variables involved in regards to those OTs that come in, and those PTs, and those speech and language, and maybe parent infant program with vision and hearing, and then you just have pure maturation that it's really hard to tease those out. So why not? Is it valuable just to show that it's an acceptable, appropriate, and feasible tool based upon the people that you're utilizing it for? So let's just ask the parents, do you think this is appropriate? Do you think it's really working for what's going on, and do you accept it? Yes. Okay. I think that would be very appropriate in regards to say, hey, we got a tool here. We use it a little bit as part of the whole. It's useful. Okay. This breaks down the ALPS for you a little bit more. We've seen it all week. It's awesome. Use it. Here's what 15 months looks like. And Claire, this family's been really great with me in regards to taking me through the journey together. I can't say enough about this family.
Hey.
So what I want you to see here, there's those reverse circles. Oh God. She's stuck.
Come here.
She's grinding that thing.
Yeah.
But now she gets unstuck. That's a big deal. Where I was like, oh, that's random. No, it's a big deal. She learned something here. And this is not a great joystick, okay? It's going to be better, okay? There's our circles. Clara has arthrogryposis. She was part of our study when we did the second part. Her family was really great in regards to taking me through the journey. Her dad might manufacture these.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
Don't want to build them. She's stuck.
Come on. Come here.
Grinding it. You're just pushing back. Eventually it's going to break through, right?
Come here. Oh. Dude, you're an asshole.
That's kind of funny. I don't know. But anyway, she got unstuck. That's a big deal. Okay? So 7 months. All right? Okay. Treatment ideas. So here's where it is. This is where I had to just be quiet. Really, our treatment looks like this. It's like you're maybe going to use this like 10 to 15 minutes at the beginning of your treatment, okay? Initially, we don't want this being a container, okay? High frequency, low duration, okay? So it's multimodal, right? You're just doing it as part of your treatment plan if you're a therapist or whatnot, all right? You're going to, we want them to be self-discovery. You got to, Laura Barnett, beautiful speech therapist, just retired. She was like, Scott, shut up. Just let them go do what they're going to do. They don't need to, they don't have time to think of what you're saying, trying to do this motorically and then have an outcome. Just let them self-discover. We got to get away and just let them do it. If we do any treatment, we do it within the first 5 minutes. Like, hey, get your hand on there a little bit more and let's push forward. Maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and then you get away, and then you let them self-discover. High frequency, low duration. Okay, encourage you, repeat, delete. And then also what I'm saying in here is just basically, let's just do our basic developmental motor skills. Let's start in a nice quiet area. Let's not have a whole bunch of distractions. As they get better, let's start to complicate it a little bit more. Let's think of where that child is developmentally. You know, 9-month-old, they can just tear up a little part. They just crawl around, they get up, they get down. You don't need much area. Let's have a nice flat area, okay? That's all we're saying here. Proper expectation. I didn't say that on that last slide, but what I was doing real wrong is I wasn't telling families what to expect. And so they would go use this and it would look like just reverse circles all the time. And then they're like, oh, they don't drive it. So I'm just going to go put it in the closet. So I didn't give them proper expectation of what they think. I tried too early. I tried to put it in with the 6-month-old child. They didn't do a whole bunch in it. They would go and say, so if you give the proper expectation and that you want some time to do it with the families, they're all in, okay? You don't need to do it a whole bunch, okay? Identify a child, family, a therapist who wants to do it, infant that's 8 months. How to obtain a power mobility device. We gave you that tool, okay? Really, you can just search Instructable Baby Bug Learning Toy, UATP. Again, give us 2 months, and that's going to be updated. We're going to have a better joystick, much better. It's going to still be around $400. It's going to be easier, okay? And then find a device or find funding, okay? Even with the Go Baby Go lecture that we had, the people will give you money for this. So please, they're gonna do it if you just kind of really explain what your goals are and everything. And hopefully we laid this out for you. All right. Here's what it looks like at 20 months of age. Okay. So again, high frequency, low duration. And this is a real short video, but oh shoot. If we had more of this video, it's basically now she figured out that this is she's using this tool intentionally. She goes, I want to get to grandma. I'm going to use this joystick and I'm going to push it this way. We're like, wow. Well, gosh, that's what I wanted at 8 months of age, for gosh sakes. I was like, no, that's way too hard. Let's give her 12 months. Let's give her a full year in this. Okay? Okay. So then what we did is Claire outgrew that. She has nice big cheeks and nice thighs and everything. And we're getting to 20 months. And so we're like, hey, we got to transition you over to our modified Go chair that we've used for a long time. And so I'm going to tell you one of my mistakes I did. So I'm going and I'm like, hey, here we go, Shelby. That's mom. And Colton, and I'm like, hey, well, I'm going to do this assessment. And then this is what you're going to do. You're going to get in this modified Go chair. And she goes, skirt. That's a wheelchair. I was like, well, yeah, that's a wheelchair. And she's like, that's a wheelchair. And that was hurtful. And I did not explain enough that there's a transition to it. I did not explain that walking still should be your main thing. This is just a tool to do what you want to do. And so please, just educate all the way through from 8 months all the way up to 20 months. Say what the next steps are, and let's just say, what is our goal? We want you participating. We want you being part of the family. We do not want you to be left out. This is the tool to do it. If you discharge from this, that's fine. We'll put it away. We can find the next thing, okay? So Claire does all that. She moves around, and so we fit her in this. Beautiful. And we fit her in this, and then we put her in the go chair, and it didn't look great. But this is 2 days into it, and she sends, and Shelby sends me a video. Claire would not perform in our clinic. You had to see everything at home. She was really smart. She's just like, I don't have time for you. This is day 2 in her go chair. Much better joystick.
Hello.
That's really narrow. And I'll just let this roll. Because she's doing something here. She's maneuvering through that.
Are you gonna get her?
Go get her. Go get her.
She has an older sister. I don't think she knew otherwise. We should get her down lower. We could cut that seat post down and get her lower.
Huh? Where's your sis? Are you gonna find her?
Your height, what you really want to go for.
Where'd she go? That way? Hey, go get her.
So we're talking to her differently. I mean, they're always talking. The family's great. But what she's doing is she doesn't know that she's driving. She doesn't know that she's going to find her sister.
Did you find her?
And so she went and chased her sister, and they were playing hide and seek.
She's under that table.
And so in our
Good
clinics and everything as
job.
we go through, we've just normalized that this is a wheelchair. We don't care. We got kids moving all different ways. So you walk into our clinics and everything. It's just normalized.
Come here.
You know, everybody, they're still moving. They're just doing it differently. They're skiing. They're just skiing, you know, differently. You know, it's like snowboard versus a ski. You know, it's like a baby bug or a modified go chair, like rehab or a power assist. We don't care. They just got to participate. Okay. Yeah. We do a little bit of remote driving. There's something to this. We've taken this joystick. We just put it out the back and we put a dummy joystick on. Barb had a great idea. She had a mom. That's what we do. We just take parents' ideas and we make them our own. And so this is just a thing of remote driving. So you put that dummy joystick up front, and we had a kiddo that was in the kid zone. You guys remember the kid zone? It just kind of, it's a tool that's out there like a bumper car. You go. Well, there's a remote control to that. And so there was some benefit to that because what they would do, where they were at she had a child who was at a trick or treat, trunk or treat or whatever. And every time the kiddo early on with, and they had cerebral palsy would hit that joystick, parent would just drive them right up to the next thing, get a little treat. And then they want to go to the next one. Kid hits the joystick, drive them over to the next treat. Food's a great motivator. So that's another treatment strategy. Okay. Here's basically our job. All right. The more trouble your kid gets in, the better we're doing our job. So when they come in, they're like, hey, our kid moves. They run away from them. So I'm like, hey, we did our job. Now that's your job. Okay. So I don't think you turn off wheelchairs or anything. You just go into behavior modification. It's awesome. Do kid stuff. Okay. So we took care of the mobility part. You take care of the parenting part. We love that. And they need to participate and explore the world with their own abilities or with the tool. If you want to discharge out of this, that's fine. You just need a tool to do it. Okay. And we don't care what you use. All right. Here's where I really wanted to get to this slide. Okay. And so this is where I was like, what do we do now? All right. At Shriners, so I have to have a job. And so now we keep going. It's an endurance race. We're going to make this better. So give me just a couple months and our crew will make it better. So then you'll go to that instructable. You'll build it $400 or less, hopefully not including person hours to do that. But now you have a tool. And if you want to use the Mini Explorer, you want to use Go Baby Go, or you whatever, just consider some of these things in regards to being task specific and do it. Okay. So we're doing that. We got to measure this, and we got to have some more objective information that says this is the benefit of this. A child we put them in at 8 months. They get this far on the power mobility checklist using the assessment of learning power mobility tools, and the parents think it's feasible. They like it and acceptable. That's where we're going to go. And let's find out what happens, okay? If you're in another state and you're a therapist or anybody else, just go ahead and take our blueprint into your state. You do have a Utah, or you have a Center for Assistive Technologies in your state. I'll bet you do. And I bet you have some great universities and you have labs. Go for it. You have high schools, all right, with robotics teams. Go for it. Use these measurement tools, incorporate this training into it. Hopefully we're going to have the training up as well, like a PowerPoint or whatnot, onto the QR code, so that you'll have that available as well too, kind of similar to what was discussed here. And then incorporate this into your, and I'd love to have somebody come back and say, hey, this is what we saw using on-time mobility at 8 months to whatever. I know what happens at 2 going forward. We know it. Clinically, we know it. And the literature's been out there for long. Let's find out what's going on earlier. So now we can say, hey, if you move, this is a valuable tool. Fund it, develop it, innovate it. All right. It's our job at Shriners is to develop a demand. So if we can develop a demand for this, and if we all could develop a demand for these tools, maybe they get out quicker. Okay. Maybe the innovation happens faster. Okay. We didn't have time to wait. Okay. So duplicate it. Our higher education centers, just take this tool. Go for it. Please take it. There's no hiding it here. I'll give you any of my data that I have. I'm not getting there anywhere fast. I'm a clinician. I'm not a researcher. If this is what you do, I will help you with whatever you want so that you can help bring this to the next level. And you guys grab the grants and have the money to fund it and go for it. I'll give you whatever I have. I don't have time or the skill to do it. Those are amazing. Hit up your engineers. If you can do this for cheaper, better. Don't let them over-engineer it. Don't let anybody over-engineer things. That kills us. Okay. So again, my clinical, I'm getting older. I start to say what I'm thinking. I know where I'm at in my career. I know where I'm at in my career. I'm like, yeah, just do it. Please. We don't have time. Just do it. I love your ideas and everything, but engineers do it. Just don't over-engineer it, because then it's not accessible. So this is what we've learned over our years. Mobility manufacturers. I'd love to see more of them as well. I'm like, and I really had a nice opportunity. I've learned a lot this week in regards to things. But I know that innovation is tough, and I know we need to make money on it. We really want people to make money on it, because the more money they make, then the more they produce. Okay, I'm okay with that now. But at the same time, can you start thinking outside the box a little bit in regards to FDA? All that. Can we look at the toys section of things maybe? I don't know. We've done it with ride-on toys and everything, but a joystick is really hard to find to just move in a toy. So why can't we do that? I know our robotics competition going over right there. We've been joking all day. I bet you I can bring this over there, and they're like, oh gosh, I'll do that on my lunch break. So what's going on here? Why? And I do understand that there's lawyers involved in everything, but there's got to be a way to do it. If you've ever looked up Not a Wheelchair, Jerry Rigs Everything, it's a YouTube thing. He's starting to push back. Their family's starting to push back a little bit, and they're making a rigid frame manual wheelchair, and they're selling it for $999. And he built a big YouTube following, and they're starting to bump the system. We got to start bumping the system a little bit. So why not? And then I would love to have those discussions, because when I picked this up, that was disheartening. I thought we're like, oh, we're right on the edge of things. We're like, nah, we've known this forever. We just have been real slow about getting to where we need to be. So that's what I would ask the homework to be. This is where we are. Barb Johnson's in there too. Barb's been a huge mentor of mine. She really pushed developmentally and really put me in my place in regards to saying, be patient. Let's go younger. This is how you introduce it. It's really good. References. Love those review articles. Go dig into them. That's all I got. Oh, sure. Which way? Thank you. You guys are intimidating. This conference, this front row is the most intimidating when I lectured to them first because I'm like, hey, you guys agree? But then you all, seriously, I was giddy. I got to meet Jenny. Yes.
I've done Go Baby Go before there was Go Baby Go, right? Because of my age and Ginny as well. And then when Go Baby Go came and all the evidence came, it really made it worldwide. I always wanted a joystick. Ken Cazzola and I worked together in Chicago in 1979, and I followed him around the country, worked with him in San Diego, and then he moved to Utah. And when they came out with the Baby Bug, I went crazy. They paired with the Shriners in Chicago, and so then I got to actually play with the Baby Bug. And last, I've gotten involved in a STEM program at a very wealthy suburb of Chicago. And so they're able to raise a lot of money, and they raise $5,000 to $10,000. And so for the last 5 years, we've just cranked out Go Baby Go cars. And I said, you know, I'd love to do a Baby Bug. And their 14-year-old 4-girl engineering group made me 2 Baby Bugs, and they're now at a 0 to 3 thing. And they're the ones that said, you know, can you bring the joystick? And they're putting like pool noodles on the joystick. And it's just great that now they're redoing it. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to make that. It's just wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Just as somebody else, she's like, keep going. I'm like, gosh, no. She's like, you're almost there. Go. No. Yeah, young people can do this. They do it, and there's money. The Waterford's a very wealthy school. They had the CNC, they had the 3D printer, all those things I thought were foreign. They're pretty common. Oh
Great
gosh.
lecture. Thank you so much. You said that great quote that we get that from parents all the time, but I want them to walk. And that whole idea of we use the F words in Peter Rosenbaum to be like, well, you want them to go to the playground now. You want them to do these things now. We'll keep working on walking. So we did a new study with Deb Field and Roz Livingstone. We called it the Hutch study, and I just sent you the reference.
Sick.
But we did this big gym where everybody comes and picks out the power toy that they want to take home for 6 months. So the parent chose if they wanted the Mini Explorer or the Whizzy Bug, and we were able to get a bunch of those over to Canada and then took them home for 6 months. And Deb and Roz published all of that data. But then we went back and we published this study where when the kids got the power mobility, the majority of the kids, GMFCS levels 3 through 5, still spent an hour a day in the stander, an hour a day in the stepping device, and an hour a day in the power mobility. That you can have it all. If it's the right families, you know, definitely self-selected. These are rural families, a lot of indigenous families in the middle of nowhere with big open spaces, but you can have it all. So thanks. Keep going. Keep pushing. We need it.
Thank you. You're a motivator. It is. We got to really get the idea of it. It's multimodal. That was huge. I mean, this is just a small part. And again, you fluctuate, but the kid's participating. I mean, gosh, when you say all those different things, the kid's right in the family, and it's just normalized. Yeah, we do.
But the mobility is a human right. Carrie Jones talked about it, like Ken said, in the early 80s. But, the publications were with the ISS proceedings, not with peer-reviewed scientific journals. So, once now it's 2025 and we finally have something that was in a peer-reviewed journal that said, mobility is a human right. That took 40 years to get published. Are you kidding me? And so, when you came out with the framework, it's beautiful. And, I'm not a journal, evidence-based type of writer. I'm a how-to writer. So you find my junk in, NARTS and in OT practice, but it's not PubMed. And so I really thank you for doing the crap that I don't want to do. It's
hard.
It's hard. It's boring. It's just not me. But I will tell you that we use your stuff all the time. And so thank you for what you do too.
Hey. Sick. It's great.
So I loved everything. And I have a question. First, I want to say children specialize as a pediatric acute rehab, and we had our power company, PSE&G, the machine shop did a tour of our shop, and they ended up volunteering and they welded us a kid cart base top that pops on the Go chair. So our acute rehab kids, we just pop the kid cart seat right on the Go chair.
Okay.
Any of the kids,
Yeah.
it takes away all that infection control stuff because they're not touching anything. And so it's a beautiful thing and made it really simple to get them moving. But the question I have is, like, you say 10 minutes a day, but I mean, toddlers move all the time. Like, when do you say use it as much as you want? Put
I
them
would
in
say,
it when
okay,
they
so
wake
that's
up.
training. Yeah, no, that's a great point because really, if now they're starting to use it as an appropriate tool and they like it and they're moving, let's go. Let's just let them move and let them use it as that appropriate tool. And then let's get them the next one when they outgrow that. Okay. So we're not saying that, but maybe up front, you got to really read your client. So if they're done, they're done. Get them out. We don't want it to become a container. That was one of our early I love that. We don't want a family putting them in it and then we'll be back. You got to be real focused. And then as they acquire more and more skills, it's like any of our kids, then they utilize it more and more. And there's better tools after that. So maybe I should be clear on that. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably need help with that in regards to, I don't know. I want them to know that that joystick it's a purposeful tool, maybe. I just don't want it to be super passive. I think it's fine. I mean, I've had kids who just sit in their wheelchair while they're doing, classwork or whatever, but I want, I don't know. I need to figure that out. Give me 2 years. Okay. And then maybe I'll be more specific on our treatment plan. Because again, 0 to 3 is, I was able to evaluate a lot of them, but I didn't get to treat a whole bunch. Yeah, like our 2, 3-year-olds, absolutely. They sit in it all day because that's their tool. That is their legs. I like that. I like Rick's answer. Kids associate with different feeding time. That's a great one. Here, feeding time. I'm focusing on feeding time. Here, mobility time. Young, we're talking infants now. I had to change my mind frame. These are not 2-year-olds. There's something going on too. It's a lot different at 8 months. And as much as I knew that through screening them, whew, there's something different going. We're conditioning our kids. But yeah, I love the discussion. Yes, sir. No.
So the baby bug seems a lot more functional than what we can get out of a Go Baby Go car.
Yeah.
So do you see a role for both, or is it now that you've got this, are you doing less Go Baby Go cars?
I don't do any Baby Go. Huge bias. Go Baby Go's been a long time. I got to meet Cole Galloway. Awesome idea. I love his idea in regards to what everybody's doing. I love that idea because what happened is he's like, hey man, I just put this on the social media. My kid was doing an Eagle project and boom, he got the word out and parents were like, I want this. He built the demand. Mm-hmm. So he did. I think our tool is better because it is task specific. So that's why we didn't go the Go Baby Go route, but that has a place. I don't care how a kid's moving. If that's what it is, I think it's very hard to drive and push a button.
Yeah.
But that got us the Miller car. You ever look up the Miller car? I had a discussion with. I love his motivation was there too, and that was the '80s. And again, we lost. Yeah, and we lost and we didn't listen. So Cole did a great job. Dr. Galloway did a great job in saying, here's something that's accessible, social media, parent driven, therapist driven. We're doing it. That was your lecture was beautiful, but and Katrina, it was people get excited. That's what we need to do. We didn't have time to wait. They didn't have time to wait. We got to get a tool out. So I get to practice in a very unique area where I'm like, hey, can you make this? And they're like, yeah, go. I would like to see what you do with the baby bug. I want you to measure it. I gave it to you. We gave it to you. I didn't do anything, actually. I just said, keep doing it.
And just to bounce off of that, I would argue that Go Baby Go is a catchy phrase. It's a phrase that people can Google and it's exciting, but it's all about the evolution. It's all about what comes next from it. So it's not, to me, sticking strictly to the toy car with a switch, but it's putting the joystick on that toy car. It is, how do you train that kid with the toy car? It's how does what come next? And this, to me, it's all part of a bigger picture. It's all part of getting that kid to move, getting that kid to explore and experience. And it's whatever tool that your clinic might have access to get that kid to do it. That's what's important.
Yeah. Do something.
For me, it's just really funny because as we talked yesterday, I'm thinking a lot about it. And what I realize is that, at least from where we come from, the therapists, they are always talking about exploring and explore, but then they are afraid to move. They are afraid to just give something that the kids are able to move by themselves, because they will wreck the walls, they will hurt themselves. So you want them to explore or not? So, and those 10 minutes, those 10 minutes are really important, because I know that my fight back home, it will be to just start with 10 minutes. It is a therapy tool. Just give them 10 minutes to explore. So just do it. Just do it.
And let's see what happens. We got to document and see what happens. We got to justify this. So we got to build a demand so that somebody can make money on it. And then we have that tool, and then we'll move on to the next thing. We know what the next thing is. And so